somebody had done our logo in a 3D model, so I figured I'd run it. So the feed rate I've set is 300 inches per minute. I always run 300 inches per minute on these guys. So the reason we just editing up the video now that was talking about these new clamps that we've got. 300 inches per minute. So you see these little guys here. These are called edge huggers. Little tiny edge clamps. So we're working on the video now. These are going to be released from IDC Woodcraft. These are patented little clamps that we invested in the company with. So I was the Woodcraft really the only one that has these. It's got you can go up to 1,000 pounds of force. Up to 1,000 pounds of hold down force on each one of those. So those will be coming available about the end of the year. the roughing pass goes that way as opposed to that way. So I always run my roughing passes across the grain. And anymore. I'm actually doing a video about that now, but the reason I do that is because if you're running that way back and forth in rough and pass, and you get those big chunks of wood coming off of it. And what that does is it makes it much more consistent. The chips are a lot more consistent. They're not chunky. Those are the chips from the roughing pass going across the grain. So you always want to do that. From now on, always just when you do your roughing, go across the grain. Show you guys, take a look at these clamps, these new clamps that we're going to be carrying. Very low profile clamps. So, it depends on the size of the project and the level of detail. So I have made projects with a 1/4 inch ball nose, a 3D project with a 1/4 inch ball nose. So with this one, so we have the IDC Woodcraft, and it's going to say Woodcraft here. That 1/4 inch ball nose won't work here. 1/8 inch ball nose probably would not look well on that. The 1/8 inch ball nose would work well on the rest of the stuff because it's kind of big detail, but not on the lettering there, the smaller lettering. So that's where we're going to the tapered ball nose, the fine detail tapered ball nose. So think of the level of detail of the project, and that will help dictate that. If you're doing a really large project, if this thing was twice the size, I'd be using probably an 1/8 inch ball nose. Don't like to go much over that because then it starts to not make as good of a finish. Is that something that folks would be interested in? A 3/16 upcut to the 1/4 inch shank? It's actually a good idea. Think about that. You get better detail in the 1/4 inch, you still got a strong bit. Get that on my list. Project is about 17 inches wide, and we are currently 18 minutes into the defaulted to 157 inches per minute. The alt mill is defaulted to 600 inches per minute for rapid. Yeah, much faster. When you eventually move up to a machine like this, it's a big change. And then you don't want to go back. So I had the long mill. I had 2 long mills. Looks like it's just going to be me and Liberty, and we're just going to talk CNC stuff, just answer questions. Next week we got Kyle Ely, so the electric guru. I might still try to get a guest for tonight. We've been working for a Black Friday sale and stuff like that. By the way, we're doing Black Friday sale already, so if you want to get some stuff, get it. Because people already buy a lot of stuff. We're starting to thin out the stock and trying to get more in. If you go to the website, and there'll be a big banner right on top. Click that big banner and it'll take you to the page where all the stuff is on sale. Should I give away this file? Would anybody? I mean, this is kind of for me, right? The IDC thing. So yeah, you have to try to do this. I wish I could show you the footage of it cutting. It's so fast. Have the file. That would be cool to have the file. Maybe I should run a... Yeah, I can do that. Maybe I should run a little contest, right? So give away the file. And I'll tell people, if there is a contest and do something with the file, do something else around the file, around this project, and see what people can create. We'll showcase that on the website, do a little contest. Here's where things are going to start slowing down now because it's got to do a lot of bouncing around, up and down. It's now starting to carve out the woodcraft letters. You can watch this all day long. Yeah, for sure. I really love this part. I want to get a little more shadow going on here so we can see this forming. life now. Look at that. I actually am planning on that. Oh, that would be a much better idea. Yeah, I will make this out of aluminum. I'll start off with a small block. I got this piece right here. So it's a 6 inches by 6 inches by 1 inch. That'll be cool. I might even start off with a smaller one, even smaller. I've got this one here too. I just need to get a vise and I'll do it. I think that'd be a good demonstration of the ultimate, don't you? Yeah, that is definitely what I want to do. A wood sign with a metal inlay. Thing with the metal inlay, it would be tapered on the bottom. It would be a two-sided inlay, basically, because you got these letters here. So I have to cut that side, then I have to cut the other side. That'll be an interesting two-sided template job. If I want to keep the type of profile, the 3D profile. I could make the inlay and then I come back in and I carve the metal. work on that one. That's a cool idea. That would be much bigger too. I can make it this size. Look at that. That's starting to take shape now. So I forget who it was, but someone mentioned before, they noticed that my roughing cuts were going across the grain. And that's what I do from now on. And that's why I suggest you do all your 3D roughing cuts or any kind of roughing cut. No, it never gets old. Any of your roughing cuts, I always suggest you go across the grain, because if you've done the rough and end mill like the beast, and you've gone with the grain, then it pulls out all those chunks. You know, it breaks away from the grain. And when you do it back and forth like that, it leaves the beautiful chips. I'll tell you, I got some piled up in the back. That's running at 22,000 RPMs with the beast at 300 inches per minute, 80% step over. So you can see it's nice. So you see how some of these chips are kind of curly? So in machining, in metalworking, there's the ideal chip shape, which they call it 6s and 9s, and it actually is, the chips are curled in the shape of a 6 or a 9, depending on which way it's turned. And that's what you want. And these are almost 6s and 9s. Yes, rough across the grain and finish with the grain. Some people like to do a finish at like a 45 or 30 degree. I tried that once or twice, and I don't know, I'll have to do it again, maybe at 30 degrees. I'm not sure why they do that. So you see these little clamps? Have you ever seen these before? Yeah, you'll find it works much better. So these are called the edge hugger clamps, and they have not been on the market. These are brand new. The company came to me, and they said so I'm in the last live. I'll talk about them again tonight on the live. We had to do a little reiteration just to make sure things were working, but that's part of when you're working through and making sure that the product works well. So we had to do a little iteration on it, and it works a lot better now. So this is, let me show you what this is. That's it. This little step clamp. is less than 1/4 of an inch. So it sits on the material just like that. And that footprint from this edge to the edge of the material is less than 1/4 of an inch, and the height here is 0.2 of an inch, so it's super low profile. The big thing with this is the screw force. All the force is being applied directly to the project material. And well, so the screw head, it's a flathead screw. So so anyway, so we invested in the company to develop it. So these are actually patented. So yeah, we're going to be making this available at IDC, but we got a list, a special list, for people to lock themselves in to get these ahead of some CNC insiders. I got like a list inside of CNC. So I'll be talking about it tonight. So these can apply. So generally, and you don't have to really crank them down really hard. Not like you have to do with other clamps, because the other clamps are so long. And right now, each clamp is putting about 250 pounds of force on the material. You can go up to, with the type of the engineering grade thermoplastic, there's a lot of fiber in there, glass fiber. So it's rated up to 1,000 pounds per square inch. That's a lot of holding power for such a little tiny clamp. What I like about it is it's so low profile, so tiny, so easy to work with. If you don't have T-tracks, what do you have? Right now, this is set up for T-tracks. So what do you have on your machine? How do you hold project? How do you hold your clamps down? Okay, threaded inserts. So the only thing with the threaded inserts is because the threaded inserts are fixed in position. Yeah, micro jig, they got a smaller one. Not quite this small though. The thing with the inserts is you have fixed location. With this, you want the tracks. So when I first built my alt mill, I had all the inserts in it, threaded inserts. And later on, when I got the alt mill, I was like, it worked, but I found that there was some limitations. Yeah, you can screw the material directly into your MDF. The strongest way to hold a project is to literally screw the material down to the machine bed. What I don't like about that though is it creates a little raised area when you take the screw out, so you have to sand it back down and sand the MDF down. Oh, look at that, Woodcraft is finally coming. Nice. Yeah, this is looking really sharp. So when I was at the IWF IWF or AWFS, the last one. There was a vendor that had this, it's like this powder you put on. I'm not sure how it works, but it actually makes the stuff look like metal. And he had all kinds of finishes, like like old brass finish, stainless steel type of look. So I would want to do something like that here. So, compatible wood screws for this guy. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're finalizing the first packaging of this. So we can definitely talk about that after we get this one online. Basically, here's the kit. And so it's going to come with the 4 clamps. And then it's got the T-nuts to slide in the T-tracks. And then the different length screws for your different thickness material. So this can clamp anywhere between 1/4 inch material and up to 1.5 inches with the setup here. But yeah, I'll definitely talk to the company we're working with. With the wood screw idea, that's actually a good idea. See, we never know until, when you come up with a product, you get it out to market, and then people give us all kinds of new ideas. That's what I love about the community. The community is, you guys say what you need, and then I'll do what I can to bring it online. It's like with the beasts, the roughing tool, people start asking me, do you have it in 3/8? Do you have it in 1/2 inch? Oh, I got to show you this one. Hang on. So we started to make the beasts in that size. So we got a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and then I had another company that wanted an extra long one. What do you think about that? That's 1/2 inch. This is not for wood, by the way. This is for ice. That's 9 inches long, 8 inches long. Forgot. Yeah, 8 inches long. It's got a 5.5 inch hoop length. Which video was that? What was the name of that video? Trying to remember which one you're talking about. Yeah, these clamps, they're going to be pretty popular. Literally, they're gonna replace virtually all my hold down clamps. I got a whole bunch. These, that's scary, isn't it? With that long bolt. That guy there. Boy, Look at this monstrosity. That's like insane. Even my homemade clamps. These are replacing all my clamps. Tall is a no-go, that's right. I think I should do some kind of contest with this. I will give the file away. That's a really good What would the contest be? How would we put that contest Hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button. Catch you tonight. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, isn't that funny? We watch our machine, then we'll watch someone else's. It's mesmerizing. Like, I just wanted to run it and work on some other stuff. I was sitting here and it's like I can't stop watching it. This has been running for just over an hour now. An hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I would be just sitting at my bench. My mentor has me, giving me some homework. I woke up at 4:30 this morning going, okay, I'm going to do that, but I knew I needed to finish this up because we're doing a video. Hello from Sausage Land. Okay, so this is that. Ah, you must be down under. It's dinner time there. All right, now it's wake up time here. It's 6 a.m. Ah, Germany. Guten Morgen. I spent about 3 months in Germany several years ago. I was an engineer. A company, one of our satellite companies, and it was in Bulgaria. Bogan was the town. Yeah, the alt mill is nice and fast. I've had several CNCs. I've had 2 long mills. I had a Bob CNC, that was the first one. And then, I had a Phantom, which was a little more than what I needed. And then I got the alt mill. This is my baby. The only thing we're going to do is upgrade the spindle. It's got a 1.5 kilowatt spindle. And it does good, but it needs more power. So I'm going to get the 2.2 kilowatt spindle that they have. So I got to get the wiring into the shop for the 220. No, I don't think you're doing something wrong. It's the way the machine is set up. Right, so when they develop their machines, they set the parameters for the speed, the optimal speed. It has to do with the power that the controller can put out to the motors. So, no, it's just what yours is set out. But you can always call them and ask them what is the optimal rapid rate. So the alt mill was designed, when they designed the board for it, they designed it so it could have a lot more speed and a lot faster acceleration and deceleration. Yeah, you don't need to upgrade from an alt mill to a long mill. If you're just doing a hobby, the alt mill is what they kind of call it like a prosumer machine. So it's kind of a combination of a consumer hobby machine, but it can be used at a pro level. Like you can make a living off this machine. So for the cost relative to other machines, that what we call a pro machine, the cost is really different, very much better. All right, so Steve popped on 11 a.m. in the UK. Good morning from UK. Continue for an hour and a quarter. Is that about right? Yeah. Actually, so I started up and then I decided to go live. So this has been running for about an hour and a half. Maybe just a little bit more. So this is, the material is 18 inches, so millimeters. Let's see, 7 meters, it's going to be, let's see, 18 times, divided by 4, so, come on, do my math. centimeters wide. Oh, for you folks from EU, got a little bit of metric tooling there. I'm just going to test the metric market. Morning, wooden stuff. Oh, I'm getting hungry. I want some breakfast. Now I'll just have my coffee. Cheers. Make sure you pay attention. I'm going to be sending out an email and a video to the CNC insiders soon that talks about these new clamps that we're going to be getting online. Little tiny ones, super tiny. They're called edge huggers. We invested in the development of these. And very low profile. Really small footprint. We'll be bringing those online probably sometime this summer. And those are patented. They're about the smallest clamp you can find. I have been able to find. So I've been, you know, as a CNC tooling company, I've been wanting to find the right kind of clamp that was like satisfying to me. And all the clamps that were out there just drove me nuts. I'm gonna go get some of these clamps. Clamps like this scare the heck out of me. And I'm not sure that these come off of Amazon. Look at these monstrosities. And that's considered a CNC router clamp. This is scary as heck. They sit way up high. That's why I made my own out of wood. So, you know, if you run into it, at least you're not going to hurt the bit. But, yeah, I've been wanting to get clamps online, but it's, I've searched all the companies that have clamps. And none of them were meeting what I wanted. Low profile concept, really low profile with the amount of holding power that these have. These little guys have, so it's 250 PSI holding power. You can go up to 1,000 PSI on these guys. So it's a safety factor 4, but we rate them at 250 per clamp. That's a lot of holding power. And the assembly, it comes as a kit. And it can hold from a 1/4 inch material or 6mm material up to 1.5 inches or 38mm. It's been in development for about 4 months now, 5 months, and we finally have everything worked out, and the packaging is now being done, the production is now being done, and we should have them online mid-December. So if you're on the CNC Insider list, then we'll do the first release discount. So the CNC Insiders is the IDC Woodcraft email list. So yeah, the clamps are not available yet. You'll be able to get them at IDC Woodcraft. But they're not online yet. The final development stage is, well, we got all the final development done last week. And all the prototypes have been tested and retested, and so now we have everything working, and we're getting the packaging all assembled. So these will go online in December. And they will always be at IDC Woodcraft. Like I said, we invested in this company, and as part of that investment, we had where no one else can, they can't sell anything else for a while. My camera is not picking up the color. It almost looks gray. This is red oak. Is what I'm Yeah, I know. It looks like white oak. It's definitely red oak, though. It's the camera. I don't know why, but I'll have to talk to my video guy, because this, for some reason, my camera is not picking up the colors the way I want it to. And this is it's $1,000 cell phone. So it might be the fluorescent lighting. I can take pictures outside. That's beautiful. Wow, this carve is looking good. Yeah, I think I'll give this 3D model away. Let people carve it. That's blowing on the screen. That's a hoot. That's a good joke. That actually that got me laughing. Yeah, well, right here, this is a natural incandescent light. And I'm sure it has to do with the lighting, with the type of light. So I've had this a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I got this hole, and it moved down to my chest. It's been hanging out in my chest for the last week. And so gunky, it's hard hard to get caught up. I got 25 people on board right now. Hey guys, hit the thumbs up button. There's one. Yep, I saw it pop up. Went from 17 to 18. Got 3 more. You guys are awesome. So this has been running for about an hour and 40 minutes now. So you'll notice that the roughing toolpath goes across that way. So that was mentioned before by somebody. When I do my roughing with the beast or the hog, I always go across the grain. It cuts so much better and much smoother as far as the chips. The chips are very consistent. It doesn't break off a bunch of chunks. So when you rough cut, always go across the grain. Show you the setup here. So the bit is a 0.045 radius in inches, and let's see, the step over is 8%. So the bit is IDC Woodcraft Ultra Fine, not the Ultra Fine detail, the fine detail. I'll go to the website and show you. So go to the website. Oh, by the way, okay, we're having an early Black Friday sale. That I'll have to ask the ladies when that's going back in stock. Or it's back. I'll be meeting with Julianne this afternoon. She's the one that does all the ordering. So anyway, we're doing a Black Friday, and 120. If you go $120 or more, you have 5% off. It's automatic on the IDC Woodcraft tooling, and then we have you'll get 2 free bits. And if you go to $250 or more, then it automatically goes up to 10% off. And you get the 2 free bits, and you get 4 files. And then if you go $420 or higher, it automatically goes up 15% off. And then what you'll get is the 2 bits, the 4 files, the trivet files, the hot pan holders, and then it'd be the ball cap. So you click on that banner, and it takes you to the page where all the stuff has all the discounts. That tells you what you're getting. And so there's the trivets. And then the ball cap. If we run out of ball caps, you get the IDC Woodcraft mug. And then there's all the stuff that's on sale. If it's grayed out like that, that means it's out of stock at the moment. I gotta look into that. I gotta see what's going on. This should never be out of stock. Anyway, back to this. I'm gonna show you the full tool path I'm running, then we'll get back to the carve. So reset that, that's what we're running right now. And then I got 4 tabs on it. 1, 2, back in stock this week. So someone earlier suggested that I do this out of aluminum, so I'm going to do it on the alt mill. First I'll make it small, not the block there, so the tiny IDC logo. Then I'll do it on this block here. And then I'll do take an aluminum inlet. I think that would be really cool. Oh, I forgot to show you what bit we're running this week. Carving bit, the tapered ball nose. We're doing it with this one right here, the fine detail tapered ball nose. So we have the ultra fine detail and then the fine detail tapered ball nose. I wouldn't use the ultra fine on this project because it doesn't have the tight detail. Beginning question. How do I incorporate the beast through rough cutting? How do you set this up? Definitely seems like you need to do this first. Well, I did. So, these lines along there that are going like that, this was all roughed out with the beast first. See if I can go to my, I'll show you, because it actually ran really fast, if I can get this to come up here. There. Where are you, baby? It didn't upload to my phone to my computer. So, can't show you right now. It didn't upload to my Google Drive. But yes, I did it with the piece first. Totally rough it out with the piece. You see, cut. With roughing, I did it that way. I always go across the grain now. Hello from Denmark. I got New Zealand on board too. Should be sleeping now. Been hypnotized for about an hour. Isn't that funny? Maybe I need to do more of these. Maybe show the layers and the different passes. Normally we could see end up roughing and change the bit. Oh yeah, that's Virginia. Okay, so yeah, I'll show you real quick. We'll just get on here. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to reset this preview. So this is my roughing. So you can see that the roughing is going up and down like that. And that is with the beast. So if I preview that tool path, right, so it made 3 passes across it to get it down to that. And then the finish was, the finish goes back and forth that way. Right, so we, which is what it's doing now. And then the profile cut. So the roughing is done with the piece. If I go into the roughing tool path, you see I got it right there, the piece. And the default setting I've got for that, I open that up, so it's at 150 inches per minute. But when we go over to the G-Sender, so I've got it turned up here, and it's running at 200, up to 280 inches per minute. So normally I'll run that about 300. Badger will be in stock on Friday. If you're still on board. was asking about when the bags will be back in stock. If I just found Michigan! Like 3 foot wide. I wonder how long that would take. This thing's taken about 2 hours so far. And this is only 18 inches wide. Of course, I'd use a bigger ball nose. No, not taking pre-orders. We do have a sign up page, so you would be the first to know. If you're on the live show, we'll have that link. You can go to the last live show recording, and the link will be in the description, but I'm going to see if I can get it into the description of this live tour. Just give me a minute. Okay, I just put the link in the comments and the description to get on the list for these clamps. So that's for these clamps right here. So the big full set, the Pro set, that's not available on Amazon. We have the 11-piece set on Amazon. Yeah, okay, so the question about skipping the roughing with shallow 3D carves, yeah, I do that all the time. If my 3D carve is maybe up to 3/8 of an inch deep, I won't do a roughing pass. So these hold downs are called the edge hugger clamps, right? So they are brand new to the market. They're actually not available yet. So the company approached me. I've been looking for a good type of clamp. I have not been happy with any of the clamps that are out there to get on the store. And the company came up to me with a prototype of these guys right here. And demonstrated it. I said, yep, these were perfect, right? And I'm actually blown away by them because of their holding power. It's all the holding is straight down, so it's all the force is directly onto the project. Very small footprint, very low profile. The team deals with that, but we have a contractor that actually works with that too. Okay, so these are like patented design too. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so we invested in the company, and this is the clamp. Right, little tiny thing. These things, I'm amazed at how well they hold the project. So when everything's tightened down, I was hitting the material with this 2-pound dead blow. And, after a while, the material started to move. But, I'm hitting it pretty hard. And these little clamps, it wasn't letting it move. I'm not going to do it now. I'm in the middle of carving a project. So these will be available on IDC. Like I said, sometime in January. Oh, sorry, December. But that link I put in the comments. If you want to get on a list to be the first to have access to them, because whoever's on that list will get a discount when we first release it. So there's a link in the comments to get on that list. And these are only going to be available at IDC Woodcraft. That's the deal we worked out. We've invested in this, so. All right, we're coming down to the final stretch. I'm not following about what you're saying. It's not complete. talked to Mark Adams yet. You're talking about Mark Adams' school, right? Yeah, the sound is because it's going across those little ridges, and that's why it's making a different sound. So when it was cutting here, it's cutting along those ridges there. Actually kind of a cool sound. Yes, the Mark Adams School. Now, I have not talked to him yet. Now we're getting really close to the end now. Now it's making that different sound again because it's going across the ridges. Yeah, this is very cool. Cool 3D model. Just a couple more passes, I think. Yeah, this is the alt mill. Such a quick machine. There we go. All right, let's vacuum this thing up. Check this out. so I got one more thing I got to do, which is the cutout. And yeah, these letters look really, really nice. Wow, super cool. Now I just got to change my bit and do my cutout. Should I continue with the live while I do that? I'll wait for a yes or a no. Sure, okay. What finish am I putting on? I don't know. This is something I'll give to Liberty, right? And I'll let Liberty do the finish on it. Okay. So, okay, all right. I will go ahead and do the switch out here. I got to move some things around a little bit. So I'll show you some of the things, some of the setups I have to do this. So, all right, so first we'll go over to the software. Just give me a second. So my final tool path is going to be the cutout, and we are going to do, let's turn off the model for a second. There you go. So you can see that we're going to be doing tabs on here. So it's going to make three, it looks like 2 passes around. Okay, so what I've done in this is I'm making my start depth. Let's turn it back on. Okay, so I'm making my start depth at a 0.4, and then I'm going the rest of the thickness of the material. So the material is 0.9. And when I do 3D models, I always set up my Z reference on the machine bed. So I got to set my camera up. I got to move a few things around so I can get things taken care of. I do want to show you this though. All right, so we're going to go over to the G Sender control software. And you look down here. We've got this tab here called macros. And so when we click the macros, you see I got it's a button here. It says bit change. And this is a little quick program that you can write. And what this one's doing is telling the machine to move forward to the middle of the machine. So if I go into that macro, so I'm going to edit that so we can see it. And there is the code, the G code, that will make it move to the front of the machine. And it's coming to a very specific point. It's X24, so the middle of the machine, and then Y minus 46, so it's 2 inches from the front. So we're going to close that. And I'm going to run that macro, so I'm going to click that button, and you'll see the machine will come forward to the very specific location. So let's just get over here. And so now I click that macro. Spindle pulls up and it comes up to the front there. Now it's in position for me to do the change, the tool change. I got to get my tripod set up so that I can free my hands up to do my tool change. So there we go. All right. And I only have so much limited cord, so I would want the camera on the other side because I'm working on the left-hand side of this. All right, so the 1/4-inch down cutter is what we are using, but I'm going to confirm that. Yep, okay. All right, so 1/4-inch down cut end mill, got that puppy. So one of the things you always do when you're changing out your tool is always make sure you clean out your collet. So we're going to take this off. And Okay, take the bit out. Always blow off your collet. So you get sawdust into the collet here, and that sawdust will act like little ball bearings in there. And after doing so much work, you'll get something called bit slip, where the bit will start to slip down and ruin your project. All right, so we got that cleaned out. Make sure we're cleaned out up in the spindle. This is a good thing to check every once in a while too. Get your finger up into the spindle and just spin it. And if you feel any roughness, then you might be getting some wood that may be sticking to the side. There may be a little pitch sticking in there and keeping in there. So you take a little bit of Scotch-Brite and go in and clean that out. All right, so let's get that puppy started. And we're going to put the bit in so that we got the flute. Can't get a focus. So that cut on the flute, where it comes off, it's called the washout, the flute washout. So we'll insert the bit to about 1/8 of an inch above that washout. All right, so we're using the 1/4 inch down cutter, and the bit's in good position. All right. When I tighten down, I don't super torque it. I'll get it till it stops, and then just give it a little more pull. If you like really crank it, you're going to start to wear out your collet. All right, so now we're going to probe, and I have the X and Y is already set. So my Z is probed off the surface. So the first thing I'm going to do is just move the machine to its XY position. And then we're going to move it over. And I need to get all that sawdust off the table. All right, now before I do that, I am going to go back into my program, and I'm going to make sure that I am set up to do that. Meaning, I want to confirm what I'm doing. So we're going to go into we don't even need to go into the set area. I'm just looking at this image right there. Now you see that red box is at the bottom. So that tells me I am setting the bit off the machine bed. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and just got to get my camera set up. Okay, so then we get our touch probe. Now, the big deal, don't lower your bit with the probe underneath it. I've seen too many people, I've done it too, have crashed right into the probe. And so we just want to lower it down, and then I'll move it over. Okay, then we'll touch that. Set our software to start the probing cycle. Do a touch there. That's ready to go. And we'll just get a little close up of that. It's not focusing in very well. Okay, so we're doing the probe now. I like to hold the probe plate in place. So sometimes I see it move on me, and so I don't want it to move. All right, so now we're going to raise it up, and we're going to move it over to position, and then we're going to load up our G-code file. So this is going to be let's see, I think it's that one right there. There it is, okay. And checking IDC 3D, I'm looking at the name, file name, IDC 3D file, toolpath number 3, profile 1, that's it, okay. All right, so this should go pretty quickly. I just got to get the camera back in position. All right, here we go. So you all see these clamps right here, these little edge hugger clamps. Andy, what did you miss? You missed the whole 3D carving of this. So I've been running for, this lab has been going on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I carved out this IDC Woodcraft logo, and so now we're just doing the cutout of it. So I was showing folks how we set that up. So I got to move my other lamp out of the way. Okay. All right, so I am going to put my hand on the E-stop button, and we are going to start running. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Come on, baby. So the spindle's winding at the wound up. There we go. All right. Do me good. Do me good. It looks like the first cut isn't cut anything. It's actually pretty low. What is my opinion about the bit chuck that tightens with only a torque screw? So we actually used to sell that, but we were having some quality problems. It's a great idea. I actually want to develop that, but we were having some balancing problems. Okay. All right. Let's see if it cut all the way through. Yeah, it's a good, like barely I have an onion skin there. Okay, cool. We're gonna take this puppy off. Woo, baby. Let me get my wrench. I'm gonna show you about these clamps real quick. I have put pinned in the comments. There's a link that I pinned. It says what? IDC Woodcraft. It's like a black banner. There's a link, and when we put these for sale, that's a sign-up list. Whoever's on that sign-up list will get first access to this at the discount before it goes public. So these guys are called the edge hugger clamps. I gotta do a little quick thing on my computer here. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, okay, so it's called the edge hugger clamp. And it's just, it's a 6mm flathead screw, and it's a 5mm hex driver. And just unscrew that. And that's the setup right there. And the way we determine, so it comes as a kit. Okay, so this, again, this is only available, will only be available at IDC Woodcraft. It's not available yet, right? So we invested in the company that developed this, right? This is a patented clamp. And so it's only gonna be available, so it's called the edge hugger. And so it comes in a kit. You get all these screws, and you'll get the 4 clamps, and then the T-nuts. And so the way you figure this out is, so each screw, it says right here how long it is. So these are M6 screws. So you got a 20mm long, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 55, 45, and 60. So these can clamp anywhere from 1/4 inch up to 1.5 inches. What you do is you just take your calipers and measure the top of the material in metrics down to the bottom of the track. And whatever number you have. So we have 40 there. So we would grab the 40mm screw. That one right there, which is this one right there. I'm on top of chips, so that wasn't an accurate measurement. And then we assemble it like this here. And then that just slides right in. So yeah, there's a pinned comment. You click that, you get up on the sign up. Those who are on that sign up list, that's like, so if I've got the CNC Insiders email list, this is like on top of it. It's like the Insiders Plus for this clamp set. All right, so we are going to take the rest of this apart so we can see this project. These clamps, just real quick, you can see, right, when this thing tightens down, I mean, there's the edge of your material right there. Let me just want to find something I can set this on. All right, we'll do it with this. All right, so this clamp, it just hooks right on the edge of your material, right like that. So it's a very small footprint, really low profile. And you see the screws right next to the material. So all the force is being applied directly onto the material. So it holds a lot harder than other clamps. The material, it's a very high grade, strong engineering, grade engineering plastic, and it's fiber reinforced. And this can apply up to 1,000 pounds per square inch after all the testing was done. So I'm really glad. I'm looking for quite a while, but I'm looking for a clamp set to get on IDC, but nothing's really satisfied me. All right, let's see how this puppy comes out. And there she is. We're gonna do a quick cutout. I'm gonna get my my little quick saw and we'll cut that out so we have the finished project. So we got a comment there. It sure looks like that would be an easy conversion to 1/4 inch thread. Yeah. So we talked about that. Do we do inch or metrics? And they made the call. The company is working with. They made the call, and actually I agreed with their call on that. To stay with the metrics. All right, let's just clean this up and I gotta just change things around so we can see what I'm doing here. I don't get to use this puppy that much, but this is when I get to use it. So we're just gonna go right over the and nothing like cutting right into my spoil board. There we go. Not quite yet. Okay. Ooh, baby, this is gonna be cool. How am I gonna finish this? Like I said, I'll give it to Liberty. But there's I was at a show, and this company had this material that you can put over it and make it look like it's made of metal, like brass or stainless steel, all kinds of stuff. So I actually want to try that. It was so cool. Okay, I go all the way through. Yeah. Okay, and one more. Okay, we got it. All right. So I got onion skin all the way around this guy. So we're just going to, there we go. Ta-da! Look at that. Look at that, look at that. Ooh, yeah, look at that, look at that. That's very cool. So I'll give this file away. I just got to do a little cleanup on the edges. Anybody want this file? Let's see. So let's see. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Can I measure the width of the T-nut with calipers? Yeah. So the T-nut width. So the T-nut is designed to fit both quarter-inch tracks, tracks that will take quarter-inch screws and 5/16 screws. So it's measuring at 11.1 millimeters, or in inches, it's 4.4, and it's square. All right, and what else? See, what do we got? Just trying to catch up with some of the comments here. Okay, all the way. Bring it on, Garrett. What is going on here? So, Jack, I got up early. I knew I needed to run this file, do the finished 3D on this, the IDC Woodcraft logo. So I just figured I was just going to start running live. So I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning Eastern time. All right, and Larry said he's been watching now for the last hour. All right, folks, well, that's about it. So we've run this guy right here. All right, let me just get around here. There we go. We're making sure I'm trying to get into the camera. Just check, there we go. All right. Yeah, so there we go. So it's about 2 hours and 45 minutes for the 3D part of this. The roughing was probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I guess. So it's very cool. I'll make this available. This was a fun project to run. Yeah. All right. Well, friends, we will see you tonight on the live. And remember, I got these clamps. So click that link that's pinned in the comments if you want to have first dibs on these. So we are getting a limited supply at first. So, all right, we're going to check out. So I will see you guys tonight.